Okay, let's stop freezing up now, eh?
I could use a little chill, but not a freeze because, baby, it's hot outside.
Baby, it's hot outside. It's gonna be. Oh, that's just cold outside. All right, I think that's enough banter for one day.
That's enough for the jibber jabber. I'm Paul.
I'm Steve.
And this is Check Your Shelf.
All right, we got a mishmash today. You might call it mishmash salad. Mishmash salad. I'm going to talk about a couple of things I'm reading. You're going to talk about a couple of things you're reading. I've got a super special surprise for any fans of mystery out there, or any fans of science fiction, and we'll end it with a reading challenge. Sound good?
Works for me.
Let's get into it.
All
the
right.
last time we talked about this book was about a year ago. And the book I'm talking about is The Treasure at Lowatani Point by Ryle W. Nolan. And we have, since we made that video, we've confirmed that it's pronounced Ryle.
Yes. We got it from Ryle's mouth via text.
Ryle's Mouth was the name of my band in college. It was a Swedish heavy metal band. And this is a Max Donovan adventure. And we have been in contact with Ryle. And at some point, we're going to try to scheduling's the difficulty.
Yeah.
He is a professor of anthropology at Purdue University. And if you search him, if you type Ryle Nolan books, he has written a ton of anthropology textbooks and stuff.
Yeah.
So Max Donovan is supposed to be a series, but when I search, I can't find copies of the other books in the series.
Oh no, they're out there. They don't have those nice covers. They have more of the generic modern era covers. Yeah. There's like 4 or 5 of them. I finished reading my copy of The Treasure. I bought this on eBay and it's in really good shape. Look at that. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
It's a Dell book. See, look at that. Dell book. Really nice.
It's about the same condition as mine is.
There's one extra feature of this book though. I finished it and you can see I used my CVS receipt here. It just keeps going. And I said I finished my copy. So why am I turning to page 184? It's because that's where my copy ends. This is a 211 page book. All right. But instead of, if you guys got to experience this the way I did. Whenever I start a new book, I tend to turn toward the back to see how many pages it is, how many chapters it is, because I like to kind of have an idea of what I'm getting into. So this one starts with a little, sort of a snippet prologue. It says getting to know you, and it's a little story. It's actually an excerpt from the book. And then you turn and you get, this is going to be exciting, Nick. It's okay. You don't have to, not everything has to be exciting. And then you get to this page where it talks about, quantity sales, individual sales, all the stuff that books do, the title page, the dedication, and then it gets into the story, chapter 1. So I'm reading, I get to page 184 and I'm like, well, that ended weird. It ends on somebody asking somebody a question. And I go to the next page and there's the little prologue and there's the title page, the acknowledgement, and chapter 1. And the rest of the book is just the first 5 chapters, and first 4 chapters in one little piece of the last chapter. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? So for some reason, this book, which looks absolutely normal in every single way, it's got the ISBN number on it. It's got all the stuff that books usually have. It's the same cover. Everything's the same.
It's in great shape.
Yet it ends at page 184, and then it just reprints the first 30 some odd pages from the book.
So in a sense, you're still searching for the treasure at Loatani Point.
I am. It's like a cliffhanger. Dude here's how it ends. Here's how my copy ends. It ends with Bone pushed his glasses up on his nose. Now it gets interesting, he said. 2 of them are dealers in collectibles, anything rare and expensive. But he didn't have much luck, apparently. 1 dealer's in prison for a customs violation last year. The other one died 2 months ago. What about the 3rd dealer, I said. And then it starts over with the prologue, acknowledgments, chapter 1. I'm like, what about the 3rd dealer?
It's like that book that Jake reviewed recently, where it ends at the beginning, and the guy just literally copy pasted the first chapter and put it at the end of the book.
Jeez. I've ordered another copy. I found one on eBay. If it shows up in the same shape as this one, I'm gonna be like, okay, what's going on? I did message. I don't want to give the guy a bad review.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. It was less than $5 for this, and free shipping. And so I just sent him a note, and I said, you might want to. He said he has one other copy available. I said, you might want to check that other copy.
It's the reverse. It's missing the first 30 pages.
Exactly. If so, I'll buy it from you. But I did order another copy. When it gets here, we'll see. I can't wait to read the last 30 some odd pages of this story.
Yeah.
It's good, though. I mean, that's why I'm wearing an island shirt. My other story that I'm going to talk about is an island story as well. But good part of it takes place in San Francisco. Very brief. I think it's Bangkok.
Yeah.
Starts out very briefly in Bangkok. Then he goes to San Francisco. Then he goes to Papua New Guinea. And the way he describes the jungle and the island culture and how it's changed over the last 15, 20 years, and how he ties in like everybody. This is 1990, so you still have people, middle-aged people who were maybe in World War II.
Yeah.
And talks about everybody served, right? Because everybody had to. I mean, everybody had to be doing something to fight this war, and like how that impacted people. It's really cool the way he does it. So can't wait to talk to Ryle. We'll figure out he's a busy dude, and we'll figure out if we can get him on the show and talk to him about Max Donovan, the treasure at Loatani Point, and more importantly, detailed anthropological studies that he's been involved in.
Yes. One might argue, but yes. Not this one, but one might argue.
Anybody had that happen to you? That would be comment if you've seen that before. What do you suspect? Was this a mistake at the legit publisher, or was this somebody bootlegging this and they made a copy paste mistake or something when they were setting up the file? I don't know what might have happened.
I just got to wonder how many of those are floating out there like that. You know,
yeah,
I don't think it saw more than one print before, because then his other books, I guess, got published later. But you know, it does happen. There is printing errors.
Yeah, I could see that back in 1990, especially back when they were using like mallets and chisels to print these things out, weren't they?
Like Aesop, you know.
Yeah. Or like on the Flintstones, you know.
Yes.
They had a little pterodactyl or some sort of dodo bird inside a stone box, just.
Well, I have been continuing to read more of Clark Ashton Smith's Hyperborea cycle. They call it the Hyperborea cycle. If you talk, if people in the know call it the Hyperborea cycle. And the story that I read this week was the 3rd story. Again, I skipped over the poem at the intro and the poem and stuff at the beginning. But the one I read this week is called The White Sibyl. And It reminded me a lot of The Glamour of the Snow.
Ooh.
Different, but kind of the same, because this is a sword and sorcery world. Hyperborea was a, antediluvian Hyperborean or sword and sorcery Conan-esque.
Glamour of the Snow being Algernon Blackwood, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Smith was a poet, as the last half of this book is basically poems, and it shows in his regular prose as well. But in this story, there's this, maybe it's a self-insert, but there's this guy, he's a poet, and he has wandered far and wide Hyperborea looking for like the elusive muse, trying to find the strange and unusual, the thing to fire his soul, and he winds up back in his hometown where he comes across the White Sibyl. And what the White Sibyl is it's a thing of legend. It's this woman of ethereal beauty. She's like just ghostly beauty, and in this world of like tawny-haired, dark-skinned folks, she's just this white wisp of a thing. And she's kind of a legendary, she's like a harbinger for rumored she comes from like the area of Hyperborea that's covered in glaciers, and like as the glaciers move closer, she's been said to appear, and he falls instantly in love with her, as one does, and proceeds to basically try to find her high and low, because she disappears in the crowd. Eventually, he finds her like in the foothills, and she's like always kind of like the little the rubies in the last story. She's just out of reach from him. And he's so high up in the mountains that he hits like the snow caps and stuff, and this blizzardy conditions, and he finally like catches up with her. But when he does, he's crossed this like veil of like mist, and he comes into this like beautiful paradise, like a valley of just like flora and fauna, but it all seems to be like as delicate as like snowflakes and stuff. And she's down by the river, so he goes down by the river, and they start talking, and like she kisses him on the forehead, and it's like getting like having a snowflake like land on your forehead, and
ice cream headache.
Yes, puts his tongue to the roof of his mouth,
Put his tongue to the roof of her mouth.
Drinks a glass of warm water, Well, he professes his love to her, and when he does that, that's like the one thing I guess you're not supposed to do, because this delicate paradise just kind of crumbles away, and he's found like wandering in the snow by these people and brought back to the village. It's a very small story, so I'm not even gonna I'm not gonna spoil it for you. But there's no way I would have stopped talking 5 minutes ago if I didn't want to spoil it for you. And it's kind of like a story of like forbidden love, or like the one that got away, and the one that maybe destroyed your world or left you hollow for the rest of your life. Which I'm like, okay, so I don't know much about Mr. Smith. I know he died poor, like a lot of pulp writers. I suspect maybe the poet character in this story is a self-insert, maybe. But yeah, it's a great story. And again, Smith was a poet, and it showed. I can just tell you the basic plot, and you're like, well, that sounds interesting. But no, you got to read this plot.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Kind of, like in Glamour of the Snow, it's written so beautifully and eerily that you're drawn into it really deep. Like you're actually experiencing the glamour of the snow, while you experience the White Sibyl in this much the same way.
I think a lot of pulp is that way. In my vast experience over the past 16 months or so, a lot of pulp is that way. It's not, the imaginativeness is not necessarily the plot, right? The plots are usually kind of structured in a certain way. It's the beauty of the writing, and him being a poet, I'm not surprised. Same with Blackwood and like the Glamour of the Snow. I mean, it was sort of newish to me because I hadn't really thought of that. But still, when you think about it, it is kind of like drawn to the forbidden thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the way it's written, the beauty. It's awesome.
Well, the plots are structured so that you don't have to, as a writer who's trying to basically keep food on the table and the lights on, you don't have to think the plot through, and it allows your raw creativity to just belch into the typewriter. And in cases like, Smith and Howard, who I wanted to liken this to the Frost Giant's daughter, but it's a little less sexual assaulty, but a little bit less. But yeah, no, that's the whole point of it. Is like you don't want to think about the plot too much. You want to pour the sensationalism into it because one, you were jockeying for that cover, because the cover story got the nice picture, and it was probably the first story that a reader read when they picked up their pulp. So yeah, but if you can find any, there's reprints of other Smith stuff, and it's all good. It's a tad depressing, so don't read it all at once. But
hey, I've read enough Oscar Wilde to know you do not profess your love for someone named Sybil and expect everything to be all right.
Hey, that's interesting. I never thought of that.
Sybil Vane. Speaking of doing things to make your story stand out, I don't know if there's anybody better at naming stories than one Robert E. Howard. That's right, Bob Howie. I read another Robert E. Howard fight story. This one was it's contained in Fists of Iron Round 2. And I didn't put a CVS receipt in, so now I gotta. Oh, it's easy. There it is. I flipped right to it. It's called By the Law of the Shark. And I'm like, ooh, By the Law of the Shark. It sounds like I knew it was Steve Costigan, so I knew it wasn't this, but I'm like, that sounds like a mystical, like adventure. It's like a serious, like he's gonna have to battle epic monsters and creatures and everything. But no, it's a goofy Sailor Steve beats up a galoot. But he's on the island of Barracuda this time, and he's stranded because the sea girl left him. It turns out he probably, it didn't say this, but I'm betting he got drugged. But it's funny because this one is unusual in that he falls for a really pretty girl who promises to marry him. I know that's right, but he has to win a fight before he can have the girl. I know, what a twist, right?
I mean, to be fair, who among us hasn't been in that position a long time or another?
That's right.
Kindergarten, playground, elementary school playground fights.
It's a good story to read. I mean, it's like watching your favorite TV show. Once in a while, you get a filler episode where it's like, okay, I was watching Three's Company, and there was a misunderstanding, and the landlord, almost found out that Jack was gay, or found out that Jack wasn't gay.
Yeah.
And they somehow were able to clear up the misunderstanding by the end of the episode. Yeah. I like sitting and watching those episodes. Nothing unusual happened.
Nope.
But this is really, it's just straight up. He has to beat up this dude to win this girl. He beats up the dude, and there's a twist where he doesn't really get the girl in the end. So, but it was good. It was entertaining. But the best part of the story is the title, By the Law of the Shark. It's sort of like the very first one that I ever read was The Pit of the Serpent.
Yeah.
Which really lived up to its name, right?
Yeah.
Because that one it's a little more unusual now that I've read a number of these. I'm like, yeah, that one's got a little more to it. But it was good. The Law of the Shark is good. I recommend it if you're looking for a quick, entertaining read.
Hey, where did you get that book, by the way?
This was gifted by the Robert E. Howard Foundation Press, or Robert E. Howard Foundation, published by the Robert E. Howard Foundation Press. Go to their website, reach out to John if you want. There'll be a link.
I'll leave a link down below.
Get you a copy. It's a pretty special edition because they remastered. Like that's what the music industry would call it, remastering. They went to the original writings. So they're not just going to some previously published thing. They're going back to the original writings and In fact, there's a spot in here where they just put X's and an asterisk, and down in the footnotes it says a word that we just could not read. so we're just erasing it here. It's what reminded me, what edition I was reading, because you wouldn't see that necessarily. Yeah, it just says an unreadable word erased here. It's called, "Oh, monsieur," she flung both arms around my neck. "If you would whip this great something, it would make me the happiest girl in the world." It's probably great gorilla or goofball, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Instead of guessing, they just, it makes it authentic, right? Instead of guessing a word that might fit, they just said, "We don't know. We give up."
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'll leave a link down below for where you can find that book and a lot more of other really, really good Howard stuff. Yeah.
All right. Before we get to your surprise, I've got a couple of books here that I found at Goodwill. One is Robert E. Heinlein, Friday. And the other is The Case of the Howling Dog, a Perry Mason mystery by Earl Stanley Gardner. So these aren't particularly my thing, but when I saw them, I thought they're somebody's thing. So I'd like to give these away. I give them both away to one person, or, if you're into, my only ask is that you're into these things. If you're a big Heinlein fan, would love to send you this. If you don't already have it, if you do have it and you just want another copy, let me know. Shoot me your address. Same with this one. You're a Perry Mason fan. You either don't have this one or you do, but you're collecting all the ones you can get. This one even has the yellow. Yeah, maybe it's collectible. I don't know. I only paid $1 for it. So I'd love to give it to somebody who will make good use of it. So let me know. Would love to land these in a good home.
Yeah, just let us know down below first, and it's first come, first serve. So
well, unless somebody I don't like is first, and then it'll be like second or third come.
Yes, so it's a very selective first come, first serve.
I like everybody though, so
for the most part.
Don't I, Bob? Right.
All right. Well, Steve, as you and a couple other people in YouTube land know, we lost my dad back in May, and he suffered for a couple of months from a fall, and it was pretty hard watching him go from being one of the strongest people I've ever met to being basically a feeble old man. If you watch this channel and you remember our first travel vlog where Steve came to Springfield Township, we were a stone throw from my parents' house, so we stopped off. And the crazy thing is, my dad has been out of it for quite a while, and so I was warning Steve as we were going in. I'm like, he's not gonna, he's not the man you remember. Well, we walk in the door, and this man sits bolt upright off of his bed and carries on about a 15-minute conversation with Steve. And I'm like,
how's that book learning?
Yeah, he used to call Steve the professor because Steve went to college. And they talked forever. So I was glad that you got to experience, your last experience with him was, he was pretty lucid. But recently I was given or returned to me was my dad's favorite book of all time. Now, my dad he was a rabid reader, not just avid, but he mostly read history. He was fascinated by the colonization of, say, this area and various other, all the stuff old white men are into. And but he did on occasion read fiction. And his favorite book of all time was Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. Well, because he saw the miniseries back in the 90s, fell in love with it, and I think my sister got him a copy of the paperback, and he read that thing till it fell apart. So in 2013, I went on eBay and I bought him just I was like, you don't care if it has a dust jacket or anything? He said, no, I just want to be able to read it. So I found this hardback for him, and he read it like I don't know how many times, and again, after he passed, my mom was like, "Well, do you want this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take it back, please. That's fine." Well, as you can tell, it's a chunker, and I'm not into these, but I thought, and I'm also not. I'm struggling with westerns. Again, I love that miniseries, except the last hour of the last episode. It's brutal, so I expect it's brutal in the book. But I thought, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read this thing, and as kind of like a way to maybe,
honor your dad.
Yeah, and to kind of reconnect with him, because my dad and I were close. We were we weren't exactly close till I started having kids, and then I guess I joined the club, and he and I got really close after that. So we've been about 25 years. We were pretty close. So I thought it'd be a nice way to reconnect. So being as this thing is huge, what I decided to do is I'm going to read at least a chapter a week. That's doable because the average chapter size, because I leaf through it, is about 10 pages.
Yeah.
And even if I don't like it, I can read 10 pages of anything, and then get on to something that I really enjoy. Well, I already read like 50 pages. It's easy to see why this was his favorite book, because I think my dad thought he was one of the characters in this book. But the thing is how like teachers will always tell you, and you always hear when you're writing something is show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Well, I try to adhere to that, but I also have this idea because, and then it's well established by this book. If you can't show, then tell it in an interesting way, because it's almost like the narrative of this book, the prose of this book, is another character, but it's not. Like, it's written colloquially, so there's a lot of like you just be going along, and there'll be slang thrown in. So it's easy. It's an easy read so far. It flows like water because it tells in an interesting way. Dialogue cracks like a whip. Basically, this is the story of two old men who decide to round up some cattle and take them north and sell them, make their fortune, and live happily ever after. But there's a lot of characters, and there's a lot of crap that happens along the way. I have a passing familiarity with the story because I've seen the miniseries several times. So it's going to be interesting to see how it fares against the miniseries.
You had mentioned a reading challenge. Is this a challenge to yourself, or were you going to challenge others?
This is the challenge to me because I can't. I don't read big books because I don't have the attention span to read a big book. And nor the life is short, so don't read shitty books.
Drive fast, die young, leave a sexy corpse.
Yep, or a sexy course if you're Arnold Palmer. Control yourself, Bob. So yeah, my challenge to myself is I'm going to read a chapter a week, and then periodically, as we do reading reports, I'll check in with my impressions of this book.
Sweet, love it.
One more quick aside. This is how deep into it I'm going to try to connect with my dad. Ever since I was a little kid, my dad would leave a dollar bill where he left off in the book. Yep. And as little kids, we'd like, where's the dollar now? Dad, what are you gonna do with that dollar after you're done?
I'll buy some candy.
I'm just gonna put it in my next book. So
bookmarks became less and less expensive over the years.
The dollars. About 37 cents now.
Yeah, it's like 37 cents from when he first started the practice.
Yes.
I can totally see your dad seeing himself in a Western frontiersman sort of way. Like he probably frequently thought, I was born a generation too late.
Not by much.
Not by much, right?
He was 88 years old when he died.
Yeah. He saw a lot of change.
Yes.
That maybe he would have preferred not to see.
Yeah.
It's been like, I want to be a frontiersman, not have to learn how these blasted iPhones work.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why The Wild Bunch is my favorite movie of all time, because these men were seeing a lot of stuff they didn't want to see. You know, I can relate, you know. But yeah, so
I guess every generation has its own disease.
That's right. Well, there's the two main characters. I think maybe he saw himself as a combination of the two, but all I know is one of the characters is in love with this prostitute.
Nice.
And I think my dad was also in love with that prostitute because...
Oh, does your mom know that? Did your mom watch this show?
No, but she was
well... Fast forward.
She was well aware of where she stood.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll do a lot of things for you, Harold, but I'm not going to be a prostitute.
Well, we used to joke because my dad was a gardener. And he had a favorite hoe, and every time he'd bring that hoe in the house, my mom would be like, "You get that hoe back outside." And the thing is me and my little brother would be dying laughing because they didn't understand the context. Towards the end, they figured it out, but
oh yeah, then they probably leaned into it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you keep your hoe outside.
I look forward to hearing more about the Lonesome Dove and your experience with it.
All right. Well, I think that'll wrap up this episode. You have any last regrets?
Too many to mention. I love every single one of you. Let me know if you want these books.
Yes. And while you're down there letting him know, or even if you're not, if you're new to us, do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment on whatever you
really
feel
helps. You may not think it helps, but it does. We'd appreciate it.
It pushes this video out there into the large pond of booktube. I'm not looking for the lake of YouTube. I'm looking for to be in the pond.
Is Pulp Island in a pond, lake, or ocean? I'm wondering. Is it in the middle of a sea? In the middle of a river? Is it a kitchen island? Maybe it's just an island in somebody's kitchen.
Yeah.
With a bunch of books stacked up on it.
Books and kitchen knives. Yeah, let us know down below where you think Pulp Island is. And on that note, I'm Paul.
I'm Steve.
And the next time you're looking for something to read,
check your shelf.
He's killing him, Gus.
I hate rude behavior in a man. I won't tolerate it.